Oh my goodness, my listener. I have one of my favorite astrologers today on the pod. I am just obsessed with her because I love her perspective on just she uses astrology in a way that's so fun and so different and so unique, especially with helping women with their glow up era and living their best life and just embodying your most authentic self, which you know I'm all about here at the Emily the Mystic Show. So, welcome Amelie Polk to the show. She is an astrologer and content creator who specializes in chart based transformation, confidence, and lifestyle alignment. She's the founder of AstroGlow, a program that helps people use their rising Venus and sixth house placements to improve their appearance, habits, and self image. Through her viral astrology content on TikTok and YouTube, Amelie has built a brand that blends self development, psychology, and practical astrology. Her work focuses on helping people create real, visible change by understanding how their birth chart shapes their style, wellness routines, and personal magnetism. Yay! Welcome, Amelie, to the show.
Yes. Thank you so much for the introduction, Emily. I'm so happy that we were able to make this work and to have a conversation today.
Oh my gosh, me too. Me too. I can't wait to dive into all of the things. So, first of all, can you share with the audience where you're located right now?
Yes, so right now I am actually in Portland, Oregon. Yes.
Very cool. And do you like being out there on the West Coast?
Yeah, so I'm actually, for anyone who knows about astrocartography, I'm on my moon IC line, which is really good for like retirement and also working from home and stuff, and a lot of shadow work too. So I feel like my roots are here. It feels good living out in Portland.
I love that. That's such a beautiful answer. Yes, the moon line. I feel like that really helps you get to know yourself better in a lot of ways.
Yeah, do you have some experience with that?
Um, yes, mine is also actually closer to the West Coast as well as my sun line. So I kind of feel more like myself when I am out there. But I currently live on my
Mm.
Neptune line. So that's been really good for building a spiritual business.
Oh my gosh, I bet I was living under like my Neptune ascendant line over the summer, and that's how I felt. I think we talked about that too a little bit, but yeah.
We did. Yes, I love it. Well, I can't wait to hear more about that. And for us to get to know you better, can you share your astrology sun, moon, and rising?
Yeah, so I am a Pisces rising, a Virgo sun, and an Aries moon.
Perfect. Well, I am a Pisces sun, Taurus rising, and a Gemini moon. So I've got an
Nice.
interesting combo, and I love yours as well. And can you also share with us your human design type?
Yeah, so I'm a projector, like an energy projector with a 6-2 profile.
Ah, very cool. Okay. So, what does this mystical combination mean for Amelie? How would you
Oh
describe
my
yourself?
gosh. I feel like I'm still trying to understand like how to describe myself and how to work with my own energy to this day. But I think that I'm definitely like I need my alone time to recharge. I'm like super nerdy. I love astrology and like studying about everything and having like deep, like passionate conversations about like the stars and like why we're here and like spirituality. Um, but I'd say I'm someone who really likes to push with my Aries moon and do as much as possible, like the entrepreneurship thing, like get things done. I get so much like energy and drive when I'm working on a project, like late at night, so I have to pace myself. I've learned I really need to embrace like self care, taking things slow, and not be too hard on myself with the Virgo energy, not being too much of a perfectionist. And yeah, I think right now I'm really understanding how to lead with my intuition, say things that come from a place of rest and feminine energy and all of that. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
That's so beautiful, and the fact that you're also working with this combination of the fire energy with the moon sign, your Earth rising, or sorry, your water rising, and then your Earth sun. That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's a journey, and I love that so much.
Yeah, and you can feel similarly too, I bet,
hmm
with the air moon and then the
hmm
earth rising and then the water sun. Like having all those elements in your big three, I feel like it creates contradiction, but it also gives you like different kind of motivators in life, I think almost. And you can connect to more people, I feel like.
Totally. And balance makes you well-rounded and balanced, I think, in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
And so, what got you into astrology, Amelie? Has this been something you've been interested in for a lot of your life? Is this something you came into recently? Can you take us through a little bit of your personal journey with it?
Yeah, I think that I first remember scrolling through like Pinterest and Instagram and seeing all of the astrology memes and all of the jokes around like, oh, if you're this sign, like if you're a Virgo, you're a perfectionist. If you're like a Cancer, you need alone time, and all like the archetypes and the stereotypes of signs. And I would send them to my friends and I'd like have so much fun. And then I understood there was a deeper layer, like there was sun, moon, and rising signs. And that was just like the tip of the iceberg for me. I started learning about my Aries moon, and it finally made me understand why I process emotions in the way that I do and what gives me like safety and comfort in life. And I realized, like, wow, there's so much more than the Virgo energy. And I began studying it at a really young age. I think I was about 11 or 12 when I really started like studying deep into astrology. And then 14, I'd say I was like very much studying a couple times a month, like hourly sessions and stuff. Um, and I began like telling my friends and calculating their birth chart. So we'd go on these walks in our neighborhood and we'd pull up their chart and we'd start like analyzing situations through the lens of their like moon sign or their rising sign, and let's say like the partners they're dating at the time too, because you know at that young age you're just so interested in like the love compatibility of
Oh, yes.
astrology.
That's what got me
Yeah.
into it as well. Yep.
Yes, it's so much fun. And I'm like, no, just because they're this sun sign doesn't mean they're compatible with you. We have to like look at their chart. And eventually, I think Snapchat at the time came out with the full like birth chart readings. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I
And that
haven't
made me
seen that.
so,
That's fun.
yeah, that made me so happy when I was younger. And so we talk about it. And I just remember getting chills and them saying, like, this is so accurate. And I realized I wasn't the only one who felt like this stuff was accurate. So I took it deeper and I really was just studying for myself. Um, and I got to the point where I learned my North Node, and I am going to be curious about what yours is too. And that just made me finally understand like what my life path was, because I was battling between deciding what to do for school and what to do in life. And my North Node is in Taurus, and I come from that South Node in Scorpio. And it gave me a new perspective of like, this is my purpose. And I think having that direction of feeling like there's a strategy out here with astrology that shows me what I'm meant to do, how I can step into my highest self, it's like this blueprint and it feels like a hack for life. And I just got addicted and I felt like everyone else needs to know about it. So now I teach it to people so they
That's
can use
so
it as well.
cool. Oh my God, I love
Yeah.
it. And yes, my North Node is in Scorpio. So I am the opposite. Yep.
Wow.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. What's your take on that? You feel like?
Yeah. Well, and also too, because I am a Taurus ascendant, so I have to have the balance of both. You know, the Taurus and the Scorpio, because typically they say your North Node is what you need to be moving towards, and your South Node is what you're moving away from. But for me, it's more of like, how can I balance both? And I mean, oh gosh, the Scorpio North Node, it's something I've had to do a lot of work around and move a lot of my energy into because it's so deep, it's so mysterious, and there's an edge to it. And so a lot of the work that I do with my clients is we do go deep. It's really transformation based. I am meant to work with people one on one and help them kind of go deep into their own shadows. So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's intense. That's what I'll
Yeah.
say.
I bet. And with Emily, like the mystic as your title, like that is so aligned with Scorpio. Because Scorpio
Yes.
is the mystic. I feel like you go
Hmm.
into the shadows, you can go into the places that no one else can go into, or they almost feel fearful of going into. And I think you can be like that anchor for people to support them. Yeah.
Totally. And so, how did you grow your business? How did you start doing this work for other people? How did you take your learning that you were and the fun that you were having with your friends and actually grow it into something tangible?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like there's so much there, so I'm going to try and keep it like concise and stuff. But it all started when I went through a really difficult time in my life related to my Chiron wound. Essentially, the community I had built for myself kind of just like exploded in a weird divine way, and it was meant to, right? But in the moment it hurt, and I felt like I used to be around people all the time and had this like wonderful friend group, and I felt so much like love and alignment, and then it all kind of collapsed really suddenly. And it sent me into like a very deep healing journey, and it also made me realize like, wow, I only have myself in this life, and I get so much like joy from pleasing other people because I have a seventh house stellium. And I really have so many layers of like trying to keep the peace, trying to do things in a way that makes others feel supported. And so when that collapsed, I really had so much time to focus on myself. And so I kept going to my studies and like researching and healing. And I got to the point where I was like, if I don't care what people think anymore. I'm going to go after what I'm passionate about because I don't have anyone around me, and I thought I could depend on these people. So I was in a very hurt place back then. And I had to do a lot of like forgiveness and healing and moving through that. But that hurt kind of fueled me to start taking social media really seriously and being like, I'm going to make this happen because I don't have another choice. I need to like feel good within myself. I need to empower myself in some way. So I was scrolling on TikTok, and everyone told me back then, post 3 to 5 times every single day. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And for a year straight, I posted at least 3 times every single day. I don't think I
Wow.
missed one day at all. And that was only on TikTok though. And I started a podcast, which I haven't really kept up with that much. But yeah, for that year straight. And I think by the end of the year, I had like around 25,000 on TikTok and like a few viral videos and stuff. But as I was posting, I was learning about astrology, spirituality, all different things like the egg cleanses, numerology, and I was just sharing what I was learning and how I was implementing it in my life. Um, and then I started working with like brands and all of that. And by the next year, I was kind of burnt out from posting like so consistently every day. So I shifted it up a little bit. And yeah, I just kind of showed up consistently online, kept teaching myself things, implementing it in my life, and just posted. I really think that consistency and being authentic and sharing my experience is what helped me grow. And I think the biggest thing that like landed for me living on my moon line too was moon series, like predictions around the new moons and the full moons and the eclipses. And those were some of the videos that had the biggest impact on people around me. And they were like, wow, I needed this. And I think syncing with the moon cycles, doing manifestation, healing work is what got me through that difficult time and the trauma that I went through at that period of my life. Um, but yeah, and then now I'm here teaching like glow up astrology, and I've dipped my toes into like a whole other field. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so profound. What a deep journey. And also, too, I mean,
Thanks.
you're so young to have created so much in like such a short period of time. Like, wow, that's incredible. You should really be so proud of
Yes.
yourself.
Thank
And
you.
can you also share with us what house your Chiron is in? Because I'm fascinated by that aspect.
Yes. Yeah, it's 11th house Capricorn.
Girl, we have so much in common. I'm like seeing so much of myself in your journey because
Oh
I
my
have Saturn in my 11th. So I resonate so much with like the challenges around friendships and community.
god.
And then I also have a seventh house stellium with the people pleasing aspect. So I'm like, yeah,
Oh my
I
gosh.
like totally
What?
get it on so many levels, like you don't even know. So I just love that you share all of that. And then you take your experience and the pain that you've been through, and you know that you're here to grow aligned community and meet your own people that way and like reach people
Yeah.
all over the world with your wisdom, and but also taking care of yourself at the same time. So
Yeah.
I love that you've been able to do that. And also, I'm just curious too, because I work with a lot of projectors. I know there are a lot of projectors in my audience. How were you able to kind of navigate that big year of growth in your business and the consistency and maintaining your energy? Like how did you do that?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question, and I'm also like super curious about what you said too. So I'll have to circle back to that. But for me, I think I learned that I was an energy projector, I think last year. And at first, when I learned I was a projector, as I was posting all of that stuff, I didn't want to accept that. I was like, no, I can have unlimited amounts of energy and do everything I want. And that was kind of my belief. And what I found is that ever since I was young, like I've been very much like ambitious. So I would wake up early, I'd go to the gym every single day. If I had a goal in my mind, like I would do everything I could and I'd burn myself out time and time again. And what I learned was that, and now looking back, I understand it's completely aligned with my astrology. I kind of learned how to make work feel fun. And I think that when I was at school and showing up, like, because that was back in high school when I was posting, I would just, every time, like on my lunch breaks, when I had time during class, I was just on like social media. I was posting, I was editing things. I'd get home, I would just like edit my content, like film content and post. And that was my whole day until I think the biggest thing, honestly, is my sleep routine. That is what has anchored me through everything as a projector now that I talk about it. Because, and this sounds crazy, I would start winding down for bed at like 7:30 p.m., turn off my phone, put on frequency music, journal, and do tarot. And I don't recommend doing tarot every single night, but at that time, I would do tarot, a full spread every night, analyzing my trauma, what I was going through, and how I felt, and my weeks. And I would write about it. And I'd spend about an hour or so writing. And then after I journaled, I would meditate for 30 minutes. Sometimes an hour, but usually like 30 to 45 minutes in meditation. And then after that, I'd go to sleep and I'd make sure I was getting about like 9 hours, even 10 hours sometimes. So having that like little pod, that time in my day where I just shut out everything, I journal, I go within, and then I get a lot of sleep. I think that is what allowed me to be able to go time and time again and show up online.
That's such a powerful answer, my goodness, because then you're able to be more efficient and show up with your full energy and your full self during the time when you are awake. You can really make the most of that. So that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
thanks. Yeah. I know. I mean, like I'm still trying to figure out a better routine because sometimes I do get into like the burnout cycles. But with your experience working with projectors, I mean, like what do you recommend?
Yeah, it's really about following your natural cycle of energy and planning your schedule as much as you can around that and finding ways where you can work efficiently in accordance with your energy. So, like, for example, because I work with a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, let's say, because for me, I'm a manifesting generator, by the way. So I have a lot of energy
Mm,
to do a lot of things, a lot of projects. And my projector clients come to me and they're like, Emily, I see how you run your business and I could not do it. So, like, what do I do instead? Because I'm on calls all day long. Like, I'm building a million programs at once. And that's just what I can
wow.
handle. But for my projector clients, I'm like, okay, let's figure out strategies and ways that we can build offerings that feel really nourishing to you and your energy cycle. So maybe that's having more remote sort of offerings like passive income courses or actually doing remote readings for your clients versus meeting with them face to face or on Zoom, because that can be really draining. That can be a lot. Or how can we figure out a time of the day when you feel your best self for creating content, when you're most energized, so that way you're doing it during a time of the day when you feel really good and you can kind of tap into that versus making it feel like a chore and, oh my God, I'm exhausted, it's the end of the day, I'm so tired, I can't do it. And then, of course, time for naps and time for rest. Like, you have to build it in, you just
Yes.
do. So
Yes. Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And oh my gosh, you're a manifesting generator. I know so many manifesting generators. I feel like having those dynamics with the projector is so important because you guys give energy to us, I feel like, when
we
you're
do.
showing up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think my boyfriend's actually a manifesting projector too. I mean, manifesting generator. But with what you're saying too, that makes a lot of sense because when I was in school, like in high school, it was a confined schedule and it was hard to keep up with everything. So I think that's why I had such a long night routine. And now I do have a similar night routine, but it's a little shorter because my classes, I take like 6 classes right now in college and they're spaced out. So I can choose to work like in between the classes. I can wake up, I can go to the gym, and I can just work when I feel like excited to
Hmm.
do the work. And I think that's what makes it more sustainable for me is because I'm actually like passionate about this stuff. So even if I'm like tired or I didn't sleep well, like I want to show up. And it kind of sounds like that's what you're doing too with your clients.
Yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. And so what are you studying in school right now? And like what is what is your sort of your what are you working on in terms of your life path and plan for yourself?
Yes. So I'm studying psychology and integrative health and wellness here in Portland. And when I first went into school, I really thought I was going to be a holistic therapist or, yeah, a holistic psychologist and go to grad school and stuff. But now I'm like, no way. There's no way I'm doing that. And instead, I'm going to use my psychology and integrative health and wellness degree like in my astrology work with clients because I think psychology and health and wellness are so intertwined with astrology. And I've already been using like things I'm learning in school with clients. Um, because when I got into college, to be quite honest, I didn't believe that I could fully make my business work. It was kind of a twist and turn journey. When I got into college, actually, my freshman year, I studied to be, I got a course called like Remote Closing Academy to study and be a high ticket remote closer. I don't know if
Mhm.
people know what that
Oh,
is.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
The
I did,
coaching
I did,
industry is so interesting. Yes. Hmm.
yeah, exactly. So I like dedicated, I spent a bunch of money on that. I like took out credit cards for the first time and I was like invested. Even though I had built up like this platform, I just didn't believe in myself fully. I didn't think I could have my own business. And so I spent like a year and a half dedicating myself. I got hired as a setter and I actually started making like a decent amount of money. But I was getting burnt out as a projector. I couldn't work those long hours. And also, I wasn't doing like what I was fully passionate about. And I realized that I was only in it because I thought this is the way I'm going to pay for school. Like, I need to put my business on the side and work on my business after I graduate. And right now, I just need to work for somebody else. And then my friend actually gave me a tarot reading because I kept getting burnt out. I kept getting injured too. I even got a concussion, like a minor concussion during the time that I was working that sales job. And they treated me great. They were so kind. They were an amazing team. I had a lot of fun. But the tarot reading was like, if you want to make this sales opportunity fruitful, you're going to have to pour in a lot of energy and time, or you have to go all in on your business and your content and believe in yourself, and there's no turning back. And I'm getting chills when I say that too. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go all in. And so January of 2025 was really the time that I started like fully going all in and offering like readings, building my course, and believing that like, yeah, I don't know, that I could have a business at a young age and like be successful in it, if that makes sense.
Oh my God, amazing. So exciting for you. I mean, the the
Thanks.
growth is there
It's
is no
crazy.
ceiling. There is no ceiling on the growth and there is limitless possibility and potential for you. So that's fabulous. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're
Yeah,
welcome. Hmm.
it's been a journey. It's been a journey. But I'm curious with your like seventh house stellium in your work, how does that show up for you? Do you feel like what are the benefits of working with clients and having that versus like the drawbacks?
Yeah, so the stellium specifically is North Node, Jupiter, and Pluto. So
Oh
fun
my gosh.
times. Fun times. So it's a little bit intense, I will say. And the good news is that the people that are meant to be in my life, the friendships that I have, the relationships that I have had and have been in, have been so impactful for me. I know that I am meant to grow and evolve through relationship. So, and that's interesting because I am someone who's very independent. I love being alone. I love being by myself. That's my comfort zone. So it's more of a stretch for me to be vulnerable and put myself out there and get to know other people,
Right.
female friends or male counterparts, male people that I've been in relationship with. So that's been a journey, as well as from the client standpoint and point of view too. It's really taught me a lot about how I've been able to transform and helping other people with their life transformations, and also how to hold such a safe container for people to go deep with me and feel held and seen in that process. So I feel like I've gotten a good handle on working with my own natural energy to help facilitate that. The Jupiter definitely helps me with that for sure. But it's
Yeah.
always learning.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Biggest lessons through relationships, I feel like, with the seventh house stellium. And then your north node is like, it's just part of your purpose to like work with people one on one.
Yeah,
Like, that's
100%.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. And then with the 11th house Saturn, too, I know you were talking about like that influencing your friendships and your community. I mean, what has that been like for you? I'm so curious.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good question because I just am finishing up my Saturn return. So the Saturn return journey with Saturn and Pisces was not an easy one. My audience knows I just released a whole episode on that topic. And it was about, so a lot of my life, I have felt like the outsider, like not involved in, like, I had friends growing up, I had some friend groups, but I always kind of felt like an alien. I felt like the person on the outside looking in, and never like I really found my people.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started going deeper into my spiritual journey, which was during the pandemic, like a lot of us did, I started dipping my toes into spiritual communities, and I found myself in a spiritual community that was not good for me and that was unhealthy and that was manipulative. And so that's what the podcast episode was about that I'm referring to. So it's been a journey of like involving myself in these groups and communities that weren't meant for me, that were not a good fit, where I have felt like, the outsider looking in, and then learning how to understand my own needs, my own desires, what I need in friendship, the kinds of people that I do need to, surround myself with, extracting myself from the relationships that were not a good fit for me, and learning how to build my own community and my own friendship groups based on a
Wow.
more authentic point of view. And that's more naturally Emily. So,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah,
What a journey with that, too. I need to go listen to that podcast episode because I'm very
it's a
curious.
crazy story. It's a crazy
Yeah, it
story.
sounds like it. Yeah. I feel like Saturn returns just like completely shift what we thought we knew and like help us just rebuild what we need in order to like become the person that we want to be, like the right person for us. Yeah.
100%. Yes. So I know that you are an expert in glow up astrology, which I just love. I like love the way that you brand that. I think it's totally genius. So just reflecting that back to you, it's so freaking smart. So I would love to know for the listeners so that they can learn a little bit about themselves. Let's start with the Venus sign and the rising sign combo. And can you just
Yes.
sort of like walk us through why it's so important to know your rising sign and why it's so important to know your Venus sign, and like a little bit about each one?
Oh my gosh, yes. One of my favorite topics. So, our with first of all, like a preface too, with glow up astrology, um I mean, I was always someone who would look up like how to glow up, how to like be the best version of myself. And I realized like over time following everyone else's advice that we have like a blueprint in our birth chart of our highest self and like what's going to feel most authentic to us. So glowing up means like becoming truly like authentic to us and feeling good and confident within our own energy. And I think that the rising and the Venus are like the gateway to that because they're so practical. Like that's what I love about these placements in astrology because our rising sign, that's based off of our birth time, right? And it'll set our entire chart up. So whatever your rising sign is, that'll affect what sign rules all 12 areas of your life. So it's super important. And our rising sign, it's like our highest self that we're kind of growing into, similar to the North Node. It's like the highest embodiment of who we are in this life. And it's also our first impressions. It's like the aura that we have before we say anything. It's the first impression people are going to have of us. So, for example, if you have like a Scorpio rising, you might not know it, but like you come across as really intense and mysterious, and people either like love you or they hate you. And you also have a transformative quality to you versus like I'm a Pisces rising. I come across as a little bit ditzy, to be honest, like kind of just like shy and like a little bit gullible and not really knowing what I'm doing on the shadow side. But also I come across as very like kind of a healing energy that people can't quite pin down, and also a mirror for projections, because Pisces is like water. People project things onto you and we soak things up a lot. So having that awareness is crucial because it shows us like this is the energy that you lead with when you meet someone. And rising signs also kind of can dictate our appearance too when we're born in astrology. So, like, different rising signs have different traits. So, that's why it's really important to dress in alignment with that, to be like, okay, I'm embodying this first impression. I'm going to take the positive traits of this first impression in my look. And I think that appearance and clothing is a good way to have intention in what we do. But to add to the Venus side of things, so why this is so important is Venus is the planet of like love, beauty, attraction, self-worth, and aesthetics, right? So Venus shows us what makes us magnetic. And a lot of the time, we're suppressing that attractive energy within us because of conditioning, because we were told we're too much, or we're not enough, or we can't wear that, or we can't sing well. And it really shows us where like our power is that may have been like sucked out of us. So when we reconnect with that, it is so powerful because it shows us like, wow, this is where my attraction lies. This is where my confidence lies. And I'm not going to listen to anyone else. I'm going to take that into my look and take that into my relationships. So I really believe that we can heal through our Venus, and it can help us like attract our dream relationship, not just like a partner, but our friends that are going to actually align with us and make us feel seen. So those are kind of like the energetic principles. But, you know, since Venus is like love, beauty, attraction, and rising sign is like first impressions, we can also style ourselves based off of that, which I love because it makes astrology so accessible to people. So you can look at the combination of these two and put it in your look in order to feel more like attractive, more confident, and more authentic to you, and kind of glow up in that sense. So I'm a Pisces rising, right? I have like blue on. I have a lot of like spiritual elements in my jewelry because Pisces is about like the spiritual, the mystical. And I have a Cancer Venus, and that's about like comfort, memories in your clothing, wearing more like baggy things. I literally have sweat shorts on, right? I'm going to wear a sweatshirt later because if I am too restricted in my clothing and I don't feel like I can move around and flow, it'll harm my natural energy and I won't show up in a way that's authentic to me. So I used to wear a lot of like tight clothing or colors that were trending and stuff, and it took me further away from my natural attraction energy. So it's about implementing the like traits of these signs in your look. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Oh my God, yes, I freaking love it. I, as a Taurus rising, and I'm not really dressed to my normal Taurus rising today, but when I am really in it, I just love wearing linen. I love wearing like nice fabrics. Like, I love buying like myself nice things. It's just, I love the neutral colors, the earth tones. It just, that makes me feel my best. The gold jewelry, always have to be wearing, yeah, the gold jewelry. So, I feel like once you kind of understand your combo of those two things, because I also have a Pisces Venus. So I'm like,
Yeah.
so Pisces all the way for
Yes.
years, so much Pisces energy. Once you kind of understand that combination of like your rising and your Venus and really understand how that applies to you, I feel like it makes such a big difference. And for the listener to know too, if you go to Amelie's Instagram or TikTok, she has a lot of videos that walk you through each sign individually. You do such a good job of explaining each
Thank you.
sign.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if you're like, well, what does it mean for me if I'm a Cancer rising and a Leo Venus or whatever, you can, Amelie's got videos on all of that.
Yeah, and I have like a free style guide too, linked in my bios everywhere, so you can see your rising and your Venus and how to like combine them and dress for them, or even join like the Glow Lab community because we have like challenges and stuff, so you can learn how to work on like the energetic side of things and the beauty side.
And how about, can you explain a little bit more around how your Venus placement can help you attract love?
Yes. So, a little secret in astrology is Venus is our manifesting power because it's tied to our self worth. And I think a big principle in manifesting is like believing that we're worthy of having the thing we desire and believing that it's already ours. So, if we don't see ourselves as like worthy, we can't attract that in. So, I actually manifested, I feel like he's my soulmate if we're going to put it into like spiritual terms, but I feel like I'm so thankful for my partnership, and I wrote down all of these things I have on my list for what I wanted in a connection, right? And it wasn't until I tapped into my Venus in Cancer, and you guys can all do this too, tap into your Venus sign, and I understood the blocks around it to help me attract that partner that was meant for me. So Venus in Cancer, like the blocks can be if I don't identify with my feminine energy enough, if I'm not allowing myself to rest and receive, that's a huge block. But if it's like a Leo Venus, you can maybe hide from the spotlight. That could be a block. You're not allowing yourself to be seen, or there was something that happened in childhood that made you like suppress your voice. Aries Venus, maybe you're afraid to be like bold and expressive in your looks and how you talk. So you hold yourself back and you try and be a little more like feminine and dull your edge. So there's all these things that we can learn about, like the blocks and the positive sides. But when we dress for our Venus, it increases our likelihood of attracting the right partner. But if we take it a step further and we understand, like, okay, what are the blocks of my Venus? What are the manifesting rituals that align with my Venus sign? Then we can truly change our energetic state to attract the person that is meant for us.
I love that
Yeah.
so much. Yes. My listener knows that I ended a long term relationship and am recently single. So I have been, as a single person in my early 30s, learning how to navigate the dating world again after a long time. And it's been fascinating because one thing I've learned about myself is that as a Pisces Venus, at the beginning of kind of my dating journey, I was really afraid to put myself out there as a spiritual woman, even though like I've got a following and like this is me, this is a big part of my identity and who I am. I had a lot of fear and some nervous energy around that. And I know that I have to lead with who I am and my most authentic self in order to attract the right people. So I love that you shared that piece around kind of knowing the blocks with the Venus sign, because that is so helpful for, manifesting the right connections.
Mm-hmm. And with the Pisces Venus too, I don't know if you've experienced this, but the generalization is that Pisces Venus can like love unconditionally. Like that
Oh,
energy,
yeah.
you can love people in a way they've never been loved before, but it can also blur the boundaries. So you give so much to them because you want to. You can intuitively sense what they need. So you give everything to your partner. You try and be like the ideal lover. Um, and boundaries are super important, like having that self-respect and being like, I know that I'm capable of so much love, but I also need to give that love to myself, and like protecting the energy so you don't become so like enmeshed in the person that you lose yourself. But like Pisces Venus, it's exalted, right, in Pisces. So yeah, that's
It's
beautiful.
intense. I mean,
It's intense. Yeah.
I'm a I'm a hopeless romantic lover girl,
Yep.
like to a T. And that was my challenge with my relationship, was that it was very codependent. And so I am learning how to detach as a as a Pisces hopeless romantic. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's been a little bit intense, but it's been good. It's good for me.
Yeah, that is intense because it's in your nature too. You just want to like connect to divine love and just allow for that to happen. But it does come with like a big lesson too. But then you can harness that power I think with the Pisces Venus. And when you do attract like your partner, I think visualization is so important. Like really sitting down and like connecting to the feelings and visualizing what like a strong boundary looks like, but also being like strongly connected. Yeah, that's a wonderful healing journey. Congratulations on like taking that step and moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, learning new things every day. Um, I also want to talk a little bit about the Mars sign because I know that you connect it with your sort of ideal health and fitness routine. And I think that's such a cool way to look at it. So, can you explain that to us a little bit more?
Yes, for sure. So, kind of like what I teach is like the AstroGlow method in astrology is your like Venus and your rising, which is like style and stuff, is what we talked about. And then when it comes to fitness and health, you use the sixth house plus the Mars sign because Mars, when we isolate it, it is like our physical energy, what drives us, what motivates us, what gets us up in the morning, how our body wants to move. So, if you have depending on your Mars sign, it's going to affect what workouts you actually want to show up for on a practical level. Like if you have an Aries Mars, you know, Aries is super fiery, they're competitive, they like to move fast, they might get bored kind of easily. So you need to be like switching up your workouts. You need to do higher intensity, right? And of course, it depends on your whole chart. But if you have like a Taurus Mars, you can't do that. If you get a plan where it says like high intensity, 5 times a week, all this stuff, you're going to burn out and you're going to quit and you're going to hate it. And also, I've worked with clients who have that placement and they've told me, like, yeah, as soon as I slowed down and I did more yoga and I focused on like endurance and consistency rather than high intensity, that is when I lost weight or that's when I felt good in my body. That's when I felt aligned. So I really think it shows us like how we can go against our energy and create blocks for ourselves versus how we can align our movement so we actually fall in love with it and workouts don't feel like a punishment but they feel like they bring us closer to ourselves. What's
Mm.
your Mars sign in?
Yeah, I'm curious about your thoughts on this. So, I've got an Aquarius Mars and then a Libra sixth house.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so sixth house is like routines and stuff. And then that's nice that you have like both air signs because air Mars in general is like social. So with Aquarius though, you want to do like innovative workouts, probably things that make you a bit curious and also around other people. So I could think of like trying different workout classes multiple times a week, maybe switching it up, even having like a partner that you work out with consistently. I think of like trying different like yoga trends, trying different like high intensity classes, just seeing what's new, and also engaging the mind in some way in your movement, because you like that sense of innovation and even tech, like having an Apple Watch or having like a fun app that you do workouts from, because Aquarius is a lot about like tech and innovation and exploration.
Mm, yes, I love that. That's so fun. Yeah, I'm always loving to try new things. I think the Taurus in me likes stability and consistency of my like old
Yes.
school strength training workouts. But yes, I do need to challenge myself to try out new things. And it's funny because I do have so many ideas of what I want to try and I like actually need to put myself out there and do it. So I love that.
Yeah. Have you done like workout classes and stuff before?
Yeah, I did solid core Pilates for a long time. I have gone to spin classes and I do enjoy it. I just don't, for whatever reason, my body responds the best to the consistency of strength training. I've been doing it since I was like 16 and that just seems to be the thing that works the best. But I
There
think
you go.
my mind needs the stimulation of occasionally throwing in something new.
Okay,
So,
that's good.
mhm.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think that the biggest block, like the biggest thing I see is people with a Pisces Mars coming to me because they're given like these strict workout routines, and then they're like, they think they feel guilty when they can't show up for it consistently. So it's like the opposite problem. And so I tell them like, you know, you're supposed to have an element of like escapism and like emotional release in your workouts and not have a strict schedule. So being more intuitive of like, okay, these are the movements I'm going to do for the week, But on this day, I'm going to wake up and see, okay, which movement do I feel like doing? And even having like an element of swimming, because that's like escaping into your own world. So there's a lot of little like hacks and stuff. And then when we look at like the trines and the other placements, it's going to affect what energy supports it. So that's interesting with the consistency. Yeah.
I love that though. I mean, there's so many nuances and ways to switch it up. And another thing that comes to mind for me with the Aquarius energy is always needing to listen to new music as part of the
Mm,
workouts too. So, so fun. I love this.
yeah.
Any
Yes.
other aspects of the glow up lifestyle that you like to take a look at with your clients?
Yeah, I would just say like touching on the sixth house a little bit. I love combining that with Mars for routines. And also, the sixth house can show us like the wellness rituals we're meant to do on a daily basis. And the type of like food that nourishes us too, which you definitely have to go into the planets and everything. Because when we look into food and like what supports our digestion, that gets a little tricky. But I think that if you're trying to find a new like morning or night routine that you can stick to that feels good, looking at your moon sign, your sixth house, and your rising sign are really key to understanding like what recharges you, what makes you feel comforted, and what you actually want to show up for on a daily basis. Overall, I just think that, and I have a lot of videos about it too, and like you can look at AstroGlow in my readings and stuff, but I think wellness should feel good and it should recharge us and support us. And it shouldn't feel like, oh, I have to get healthy and I need to try this diet in a way that you're like, okay, I'm probably going to end this at some point, but I'm just going to try and like lose weight for this period of life. I think health should be something we're able to sustain every single day. And health looks different to everyone based off their chart. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Mm, yes, absolutely. It's so individualized. But I think knowing that and then knowing that you can go to your birth chart to find these little nuances about yourself is so empowering because we're so taught in our society to kind of follow the trends and what everyone else is doing and keep an eye, especially as women, we're so taught to look to the media and social media to follow whatever the latest health fad or craze is. And
Yeah.
I think knowing that you already have a unique chart, a unique roadmap to your own ideal health and wellness is just so empowering.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is. And with your like Libra sixth house, I mean, that makes me super interested in like how that shows up for you too, because I'm trying to think about it as you're talking as well. Like, do you think that you're more motivated when you're going through your day like with someone else, or do you feel like you're more motivated if you're doing things like independently?
That's a great question. I would say typically independently, but what I am learning about myself in this new phase of my life is that having the right people around me who say the right thing at the right time or who ask me the right question gives me the push needed to kind of get me to the next thing, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like it's almost intuitive too when we're with somebody, like we're reading each other's energy, and sometimes the person can kind of say like maybe what we're feeling, but we don't know how to express into words, and they kind of mirror that back.
Totally. And I mean, I think
Yeah.
I'm also on a journey of finding the right partnership because I'm used to being in partnership. I was in a 10-year relationship, just so you know. So, yeah, long
Yeah.
time with one other person. And so I'm learning about how to do things independently. And yeah, and also what I am looking for in terms of what that ideal partner could be for me, because I know it would be insanely motivating to be in a power couple with the right partner. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, that makes sense. And then with your Gemini moon too, I feel like it's so supportive to have like the podcast and like speak out with your voice because that keeps you like comforted. Always having like the mental stimulation, being able to have conversations with people like as you go through that healing process.
Oh yes, the Gemini moon needs a constant mental stimulation and the deep conversations, and it's, oh my gosh, it's so true, and the curiosity and always learning new things.
Yeah, the great learner. Like you're going to be a lifetime learner with that placement.
Oh yes, 100%. Anything else about the moon sign that we need to know and why that's so important?
Yeah, I feel like to me, I think it's one of my favorite parts of the whole entire chart because our moon sign is like our most private self. You know, people meet you, they see their rising sign, they talk to you for a while, they see your sun sign, and then when they get to the moon sign, it's like they start to really know who you are. It's like your secret lockbox in a way. It's like how you process emotions. What is the way to your heart? What comforts you? Are you going to be like, is food your comfort? You know, if you're a Taurus moon, is that how you like self-soothe and stuff? Or do you self-soothe through, you know, conversation, like deep connection with people with the Gemini, like always having that mental stimulation? Um, so I think our moon sign is like, if you don't resonate with your sun sign in astrology or you don't feel super connected to it, look to your moon sign. I think it's going to tell you so much about who you really are, and the way that you emotionally digest the world, because our moon sign is, you know, the emotions that we feel, and emotions are constantly going throughout the day, even if we're not thinking, even when we're asleep at night. Our emotions, I feel like, are at play in our dreams. So
Yes, it's so true. And I think it kind of helps you understand yourself better and how you process emotions or don't. I mean, as a Gemini moon,
yes.
I kind of pushed my emotions away for a lot of my life because I have a 5 planet Pisces stellium. So there is so much so much emotional depth and sensitivity that for a lot of my life I couldn't handle. And I also did not have the parental or social support in my childhood to help me understand those emotions. So now as an adult, I'm like, I'm starting to really go into it more and more and more, and like giving myself permission to do that. But I think, yeah, depending on what your moon sign is, sometimes that can show you a lot about how you do process your emotional world for sure.
Yeah, no, and with the Gemini moon too, I mean, there's like, it's interesting that you say like in childhood and stuff you weren't given that opportunity to like process and talk about it, because there's two sides. Like some people with that placement either were able to talk about it a lot in childhood and it helped them, or there creates that wound if they go through a situation where their family like intellectualized emotions or didn't talk about it and thought that learning and education and speaking, and watching things were more important than actually feeling. So it's
100%.
like
Yep.
you have all that self-awareness through your chart, and like with the Pisces energy too, that is, you have such an incredibly like complex chart, I feel like, with all those different areas. You're
Oh,
like, I know it,
Amelie,
I'm
I
living
am learning
it.
more about myself every single day. And, for the listener to know, I have spent years analyzing my own birth chart, and I'm still feel like I'm just at the tip of the iceberg. I'm always
Right.
discovering new things. And I think that's the cool thing about life is it's a lifetime journey. And as you go through different ages and stages in your own life, there's always going to be new aspects of yourself in your chart that get unlocked.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I feel that same way too. I'm always like understanding and trying to learn the deeper layers of things. That's why I love studying astrology, because I feel like we get to study ourselves and we get to like share it with others too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My final question for you, just because this episode will be coming out at the very end of eclipse season. Anything that you are noticing with this eclipse season, just any messages that you feel like the listener might need to hear with, the Virgo solar eclipse that we're about to move through this weekend?
I'd say that right now, like anyone who isn't feeling okay because they feel like things are crumbling or they're not turning out in the way that they had tried to get them to turn out. You know, sometimes we control outcomes and we think that we can determine what life path we're going down. Like this is all happening in your favor. Like these eclipses are here to launch you into like your soul's purpose, which sounds extreme, but it's true. If you've been denying like a dream that you have or denying that it's the end of something, this is the time where you're being forced to let go of it so you can reach that next level version of yourself. And you're going to look back and you're going to be like, I don't know how I didn't see it before, but I am so thankful that has been taken from my life. So it's not a time for doing, just let it happen. It's all going to work out.
Yes, so well said.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. I have nothing else to
Yes.
add. Like, let it roll, ride the
Yes.
wave, don't do anything, just relax and rest and observe and see what
Yes.
happens. Mm-hmm.
Rest is key. I agree. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, what do you have coming up in your business right now? How can people work with you? Yeah, what do you have to share with us today?
Yeah. So if you guys want to work with me and start implementing all of these things and understanding, like, okay, how can I align with my natural energy? How can I feel confident? How can I align my health routine with that? The key is to join AstroGlow because I'll teach you everything and I'll help you like one-on-one so you can navigate all of this stuff and really dive deeper into your birth chart. And I think Emily's going to have that linked below if you want to join AstroGlow. And if you're in a place where like you're not ready to invest or you don't have the finances, that is completely fine because I was in that spot too. So I give a lot of free content on my YouTube to help you start like decoding and understanding. So if you are an astrology lover, you want to learn more about yourself, definitely go watch my YouTube. And I also do readings, right? So if you want to kind of start to understand your chart, talk to me, work with me once one-on-one, then I have the glow up reading and we dip into a couple of the topics in AstroGlow in that. I also have the life purpose, like general 60-minute reading. So if you're feeling stuck right now, you don't understand like, okay, what's my next step in career or in love or in myself, then I really recommend that reading. But yeah.
Beautiful. So many good things. Can't wait for the listener to check that out. And of course, we have to end our conversation today by learning about being a mystic. So, Amelie, what does being a mystic mean to you?
Wow, I feel like I was just waiting for this question so I could like intuitively think about it. I think being a mystic to me means like bridging the gap between the material world and like the spiritual world, the unseen. And I think that means helping others believe or incorporate the unseen in the way that they need, whether they're going through like a tough time and they are looking at their physical world and they're like, I can't have my dream life. Nothing around me is showing me and proving me that that can happen. I think then it's like about being the guide to show them there's something bigger working in our favor right now and it's all going to be okay. I feel like that's what being a mystic means to me.
Yes, yes, beautiful answer. And you've given us a lot of tips today for living a mystical life. Is there anything else we need to know? Any final tips?
Oh my gosh. I could talk about it for hours, honestly. I would just say, like, get, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I say. My tip is like, your inner world is reflected in your outer world. So understand your inner world as much as you can.
What a deeply profound answer. Oh my God. It's so
It's the
true,
Pisces
though.
rising. I don't know.
I love it, Amelie. Oh my God, you are such an old soul. Like, what a joy. So cool. Like, it's such a treat for me to have a conversation with someone from, younger generation who's like really intent on teaching us about spirituality and consciousness. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been such a
Yes.
treat.
Thank you.
And yes, thank you for
I
coming on
was
the
just gonna
show. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for being so open about your chart too, because like that really helps me connect and like understand on a deeper level. And I don't know, I think everything is going to work out so well for you. And you made a hard decision recently, and you're going to be so blessed because of it. And I'm so excited to see what happens. So thank you so much for like creating this space for us, and just giving back to all your listeners.
Yay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been a magical journey, and my listener, the portal is now closed.